It's the Crack House Podcast with Mike and Muskie.
All right, what's going on, everybody? It's 9:00. It is time for the Crack House Podcast. My name is Mike O'Sullivan. Joining me, as always, Chris Muscalino. What's up?
I'm every woman. What's up, amigo? Hot time, summer in the city. Summer. What's good, man?
Nah, nothing much. Nothing much. Just really enjoying the heat, the summer. The summer is officially here, man. 4th of July's here, Monday.
4th of July's.
Enjoy your 4th of July.
You know, harking back to better times, hopping over the fence, Astoria Park, July, fireworks in Astoria Park. Remember those days, Mike?
Yeah. People sneaking in the pool at night, jumping the fence.
There it is. Remember that one?
Tag team. That was tag team, right?
Team, back again.
Yeah.
Remember that whole thing in Central Park or one of the pools where they were, I guess one summer it was like a big thing to like rip off the girls' clothes and sing that song. It was a whole thing in the paper, if you remember.
Did they sing that? Was it a song they sang? I didn't know. I thought
it was a song. It was a big thing. I remember reading in the Post, they were doing it like in the, the really bad places and stuff, getting themselves all sorts of trouble, Good times, man. Good times. Not that that was a good event or good times, but just overall. What's good with you, man?
Nothing much. Same old stuff. Like I said, I finished up Broadway this week. Had a great time. Hopefully I'll be back soon. I just got booked at Governor's July 10th. So we'll see what happens there. What am I doing? I think the 7:00 show, July 10th at Governor's. So other than that, nothing much really going on. I mean, a bunch of movies came out. The Elvis movie came out, right?
I didn't get a chance to see it, Mike. I was going to see it tonight. I'm definitely going to probably see it over the weekend. Overall, the reviews were good. I mean, I got a good buddy of mine. I guess he's in my fraternity, and he's a big Elvis guy. One of these Elvis impersonator guys. We had one in my family too. God rest his soul, Victor. But he didn't like it. He's a really, really big Elvis fan. But everything else I've read talks about it really being pretty good. The family likes it.
But now, okay. Why didn't he like it? What was his reasoning for not liking it?
He said that he's like a really big Elvis fan, and he is, and he's really into the music. Like I like it too, but he like takes it to a whole nother level. And he said it really didn't move him. He goes, it kind of glossed over the stuff. Some of the stuff that you pointed out, like I don't think it goes into the the underage stuff with the wife.
Yeah, this is definitely not. Yeah, we were talking about it. Yeah, like the stuff we talked about last week. It's not going to go into any of the negatives that Elvis was.
I think for new Elvis fans, for casual fans, I think you really, from what I get from the reviews, I think that you'd really like the movie. I think for like a deep, like a heavy duty Elvis guy, like an Elvis impersonator type person, I think you could find faults with that. But that's like me watching a movie of my favorite band, if I saw something about the Stones or the Clash or the Beatles, forever, and, it was, things were glossed over.
Yeah.
With it too. But,
you got to realize too, they want to make it entertaining.
They don't want, part of it.
And most people know the Elvis story to begin with.
Right.
He's been dead for 40 years, over 40 years.
Almost 50.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, it's been a long time since Elvis left the building. So everyone knows his story and everyone knows what he did and what he was famous for, what he was infamous for. So
I like the fact that, from what I gather, it kind of focuses on the relationship between him and Parker. It goes into the mystical part of Elvis, how Elvis got involved in music. Elvis grew up in a really, for those that don't know Elvis, which you probably have to be under a rock for the last 50 years, he grew up in a really bad part of Memphis. He went to like really, heavy duty African American churches, heavily involved in gospel and stuff. And that's where he cut his teeth, in terms of like, his music. A lot of it, the black community's been saying for years, and rightfully so, that a lot of music, including his, was ripped off from them, going back to the blues. And I like them showing the connection part. A lot of these rock biopics, Mike, even like Queen and stuff, even my screenplay that I'm writing about Strummer, I like the ins and outs on how these bands came apart. I was talking to a couple of buddies of mine a couple weeks ago, and we were talking about Get Back, the Beatles. We covered that last year, and I could have done without 9 hours of the Beatles, right? But
oh yeah,
here's the deal: it was riveting to watch how Paul McCartney came up with music. Like all of a sudden, he's talking in tongues, and 2 seconds later, he's got Get Back, and or like the Queen the Queen movie, Bohemian Rhapsody. All of a sudden you're watching like the ins and outs of the bands and his alternate lifestyle and all that other stuff, and then boom, he's getting into a fight with them, and all of a sudden you got another one bites the dust. So I'm into that kind of stuff. So for that reason alone, I really am into watching the movie, regardless of the kind of reviews that, I've seen one way or the other. But that's just me.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I'll probably wait for it to come out on HBO.
Streaming Hulu services.
Yeah. Doctor Strange just came out. I went to go see it 2 weeks ago in the movies. I should have just hung out. The movie was an abomination. The movie was horrible.
We got one of our buddies, one of our local buddies, a group that we hang out. They're doing a watching party for the Stranger Things finale tonight. I guess that's like 2 hours. I'm not fully caught up. I've been telling you off air that I'm almost done. I'm like season 4 right now, like into the second or third episode. So I didn't want to really go, and watch it, obviously jumpstart it, but that seems to be a big thing. I don't know about you. Have you caught up with that, or you?
Nah, I'm still like on the 3rd season.
Okay.
I just gotta, like, I was watching what I watched today. I watched The Boys. I didn't even finish that. The new episode came out.
Right.
It's getting like I think they're like 7 episodes in now for this season, so there's probably like 3 left, if anything. So it's starting to wind down a little. You're starting to get into the origins of like certain characters and why they are the way they are. And
The Boys, right?
yeah, I'm not going to give away too much because I know you're only on like like the 1st or 2nd season of it. But I wanted to go see this other movie called 4th of July. But I think it's only coming out in like limited release, and then I think it's going to go to streaming right after that. It's what Louis C.K. It's like his comeback. He's directed the movie, and it stars this guy Joe List, who's a real funny comedian. He wrote the movie with Louis, and it's getting all these amazing reviews right now. It actually played, I think, last night at the Beacon Theater, and supposedly got amazing reviews. Oh, last night I actually went to go see a play or musical. I saw the musical of Mr. Saturday Night with Billy Crystal.
Billy Crystal, man. Nice.
Damn, he's old, man. He got old.
He's close to 80, I think, at this point, Mike.
I think he's in his like mid-70s when I
he's
checked
like
it.
my dad's age.
And like the other guy's in it too from the movie, David Paymer. He got really old. Like he's like, wow, old. And I mean, the play is good. It's based on the movie. I haven't seen the movie in over 20 something years, but it wasn't bad. Billy Crystal still has it. He's still funny. I think he's one of those like old school comedians, very funny stuff.
I like Billy Crystal, man.
It's basically the movie, it's just a musical version.
Between like 84 and like 89. He wasn't in like that Eddie Murphy class, but he was close, man. He had a good run.
Yeah, the guy made a lot of great movies.
Running Scared, right? The Cowboy movie, right, where he played with
the 2 City Slicker movies.
Right.
Analyze this, analyze that. I mean, he's had a nice run. He's had a great
with
career.
With the chick in the diner, right?
Harry Met Sally.
Right.
Yeah, he's had, like I said, he's had a nice run.
It's the other place up on downtown in the Village.
No, Katz's Deli. It's down
Or
in
was
the
it
east.
Cats?
Yeah, on Houston. Yeah,
Yeah,
great. Another guy, Long Island royalty. I think he's a Long Beach guy.
yeah, we talked about it last week, man. I mean, he's up there. He had a nice run, man, for about 5-10 years. You know, simultaneously with Billy Joel. You know, Billy Joel, I think, kind of reached his peak in that time period too. You know, I mean, he had a run in the '70s, but I think they both both Billies, both from Long Island. I think.
Well, I think Billy Joel peaked earlier, got on the scene earlier. I mean, Billy Crystal's known for soap. He was the first gay person on TV, technically, like open gay person.
Billy
When he,
Crystal,
yeah, when he was on soap, when he was on the show Soap,
right?
he was the character. I think his name was Buddy. He was the first openly gay character on TV. That's like
Billy
70s.
Crystal's not gay though, right?
Last time I checked, no.
Okay. Not that there's anything wrong with it, folks. I'm just checking. I know it's Pride Month, Pride Month was last month. I'm sorry.
But yeah, he was like the first character openly gay on Soap, the show. And then he kind of disappeared a little bit. He almost got on he was supposed to be on the first season of SNL and got cut like the day of taping.
He had a nice run at Saturday Night Live.
No, he only had 1 year. He was part of that crew that had 1 year. That was a year. The year he was on, it wasn't Lorne Michaels. They brought in like all these like kind of semi-celebrity known people like Christopher Guest, him, Martin Short, I think was on that year. They had like semi-named people. They lasted 1 season and then they got rid of that cast.
I don't think it's close, Mike, but who do you think? I don't even think it's a legitimate question, but I'll ask anyway. Joe Piscopo or Billy Crystal?
What? No, Billy Crystal.
Right?
What do you mean? Like what
just in terms of career, just like overall?
No way, man. Billy Crystal hosted the Academy Awards like
it's Crystal, right?
7 times or whatever. And I mean, he's had that career. Joe Piscopo, he had a quick spark in the 80s. And then, I know he had a cancer thing too, Joe Piscopo.
Yeah, he had a cancer thing. He had the stand-up thing. He did a Saturday Night Live run. He made a couple movies.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like post SNL, he had like 1 or 2 movies, and then that was it, man. And then he kind of, like I said, he got cancer. He popped up. I remember seeing him popping up on like a Law and Order, and it was like, oh shit, it's Joe Piscopo.
Yeah, man. He did a great Sinatra, though. I'll tell you that much.
Oh, he was funny when it was like him and Eddie Murphy doing like Sinatra and Stevie Wonder.
Stevie Wonder, right?
Yeah, they were. He was, but he did.
He is black and I am white.
He hated Phil Hartman's, I think, Frank Sinatra.
No, I didn't give any credence. I like Phil Hartman. He was a funny guy. God rest his soul. But, Piscopo nailed it.
Yeah, but Piscopo did it to be like he loved Frank Sinatra.
I think Sinatra got pissed at him, if I'm not mistaken.
But, like, Phil Hartman did it out of, like, vitriol. Like, he was like, fuck Frank Sinatra. This is a guy that's hooked up in the mob and had people roughed up and, like, I'm the greatest guy. He was like, he was fucking with Sinatra. Well, like Joe Piscopo, they showed him in interviews like, well, I really wasn't a fan of Phil Hartman Sinatra, and mine was more of a tribute to him.
I'm a big Sinatra fan, Mike. So I never really was into. I didn't take. I didn't. My takeaway from Hartman Sinatra wasn't what you just said, although I don't doubt it. But I didn't like his portrayal of him at all. I thought Piscopo was funny.
Well, I mean, the whole thing with Hartman, it was just supposed to be like, I'm going to expose this guy for like,
what he is, right?
Yeah. Like, I'll have you roughed up. I'll take you outside and Jilly and Tommy are going to stomp you in the alley.
I've read Sinatra's biography. I've read Joe DiMaggio's biography by multiple people. And, for 2 Italian icons in the 50s and the 60s and the 70s and stuff, those guys hated each other.
Really?
DiMaggio hated him beyond belief. No. He blamed him for Marilyn Monroe, basically. He blamed him for introducing her to the Kennedys and that whole element, that mob element. And he says that if Sinatra didn't introduce her to the Kennedys and the mob and all those other people that, he introduced them to, she would still be alive today.
Oh, so really?
He blames her. He blamed her up until, for the death, for Marilyn Monroe's death. Couldn't stand him. absolutely couldn't. And listen, DiMaggio is no angel too. You know, I've read some stuff, and I like Joe D, but apparently he wasn't the greatest guy in the world. You know,
Yeah, I watched him in that Mickey Mantle documentary that Billy Crystal actually directed.
right.
That 161, and they shit all over him. Like he
Well,
treated
that stems back
Mantle like shit in like his rookie
to the
year.
52 or the 53 series where there was a ball in center field. Mantle was playing center. DiMaggio was playing center field because he wouldn't move off it, kind of like Jeter and A-Rod, you know. And I guess what happened was he didn't call Mantle off in time, and Mantle tore up his knee. I guess he hit like a ditch or a divot in the field, and he tore up his knee, and he was really never the same. You know, he was still great.
Yeah.
But like the technology and the surgery wasn't what it is today. And when he ripped up his knee, his speed kind of really went away. The guy was like Mike Trout on steroids prior to that injury. And what they're saying was that it was Joe DiMaggio's arrogance, you know, number one, not to call him off. And number two, he probably shouldn't have been in center field. He probably should have been left field, and Mickey should have been in center. It's just kind of like Jeter probably should have moved to second or third and let A-Rod play shortstop. But that's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the same thing I heard about Mantle. He wasn't exactly the greatest.
Oh, you mean DiMaggio?
Nicest fella, DiMaggio. Yeah, he wasn't the nicest fella when it came to that anyway. But
speaking of not great fellas, looks like one of our, I guess, grade school icons seems to be wanting to make a run for the presidency of the United States. Mr. Private Parts, Howard Stern. Thoughts, Mike? I know you're probably a bigger Stern guy than I am, even though I enjoyed him as a kid. I enjoyed him up in through the mid-'90s. He's turned into kind of a dick the last couple of years, so I really don't care for him much anymore. But
I just read it's him and Bradley Cooper.
Well, that's what he's goofing on, right? Is his vice
Bradley
president.
Cooper supposedly called him and said, "I'll be your running mate." But
what I heard was he wants Bradley Cooper because, quote, like the kid in Stranger Things, he's a chick magnet.
It's true. Women, that's how women, hey man, sometimes that's how women vote. But
and by the way, you know, for someone who's follically challenged, that kid in Stranger Things, you know, as they say in the rap world, no homo, has got great hair. I wish I had that kid's hair. That kid, Steve, Joe Perry, or whatever his name is.
It is a nice.
I just want to throw that out there.
Hair.
You know, I don't want to get us off track or anything, but beautiful.
But I mean, Stern, I mean, he did this again. What was it? 94. He ran for governor, and he was serious about it. And then what happened was he had to disclose his financials, and he immediately dropped out of the race. And he even said it on his show. He's like, I didn't know I had to do this. And I don't want everyone, basically, he didn't want everyone knowing like how much money he had and how much money he was making and what he paid in taxes. Because I'm sure he's another rich guy that, you know, has tax shelters and, you know, hides his money well, like every other rich person.
You know, Mike,
so
when it comes to money, you know, sports, politics, I really don't give a shit where you got your money. You know, I really don't. It's not mine. Yeah, that's my take on it. My take with Stern is, look, I thought he was an extremely funny guy. I think he's probably a very smart guy. You know, he's a billionaire, well, close to it, like we talked about off air. My problem is, look, I know people obviously dislike Trump, and you know they're very partisan one way or the other. But here's the deal: when you make comments about a whole swath of the population, you're kind of done with me. You know, so I mean, you can't really do it one side or the other. And I can't really get past the fact that he's like, whether he said it in jest or not, you know what, if you're a Trump supporter, you should down bleach and you should all die. Hey, Howard, go after yourself. You're the guy that talked about, you know, Charles Grodin's tumor underneath his toupee and how you wish he died a horrible death. You're the guy, you know, you're an abortion guy now, you're pro-abortion. You were the guy in Private Parts that was making fun of your wife's fetus in the toilet bowl. So now all of a sudden you're growing a conscience and you want to run for president and you make all these statements on the left side of things. What? To be funny? To get votes? I don't get him. I really don't. I mean,
well, he's a guy
coming from a different perspective and stuff, but
he's a guy. He just leaned left because he knew. I think he saw the writing on the wall with like cancel culture and things like that, and realized if you keep going right or lean right in any way, if they want to kill you, they're going to kill you.
I don't even think he ever leaned right, to be honest with you. And
no, he did. But I've seen him. I mean, he did a lot. I mean, you go back to his 80s stuff.
I'm just saying.
There's a lot of homophobic stuff he does.
Right. That's my point.
That's what I'm
See,
saying.
my deal is this. Look, don't kill me for, quote, being ignorant or a bigot when you got skeletons in your closet. Or when you.
Oh, no. Most
right.
of the fans that got him to where he was, probably most of them lean right. I'll say that for a fact.
I'm saying it's like, these guys that walk around is like, oh, Mike, you're a racist. You said this, or you're a
no, he got
right.
called out on the carpet for this a while ago. Like he went on The View and they called him out for all this and they gave him a pass.
Right.
He's one of those older guys that has been around and they gave him the pass and he said, well, I did a lot of this in satire. Oh, okay. Satire. Okay. Like
listen, I laughed at
he had a show on Channel 9 on network television where he dropped the N-bomb quite a few times.
That's what I'm saying. That's my biggest.
And he got away with that.
You hit it on the head. So, guys like Trudeau or, the guy on the Late Show, hey, Chris, don't say the N-word. Don't do this. Don't do that. You're a racist. Listen, you've never had a black person in your house in your life. Wait a second. You're the guy that ran around with blackface at parties, at frat parties. But you're lecturing me about being a racist? Come on, I have a huge problem with that. We've hit it over the head, Mike, throughout the year or two. But I don't know. I saw that, and I don't.
Well, he's not. This is just him being a goof.
You think it's being a goof?
Yeah, he's not gonna, because I guarantee they're gonna tell him again. You got to release all your money and everything, and he's gonna be like, no, I'm not doing that again. So.
And listen, when the country's not past it, I mean, we elected Trump. You had Jesse Ventura. You had Schwarzenegger. I believe Clint Eastwood was a mayor. Sonny Bono was a mayor. There's precedence for it. I mean,
I can't see him run. I can't see him taking any of this seriously. I think this is just him wanting to go on and rant. Now, this will give him fodder on his show now for how many months till he wants to say, nah, I don't want to do it anymore. That's all it is. I mean, he did the same. He did the same thing when I remember when he did the same thing when he wanted to run for governor. I'm going to do this and I'll get rid of this and I'll get rid of that. And then it was like, well, let's see your financials. Now I'm done. I'm out. He'll probably do the same thing again.
Yeah. But when it comes to money, I mean, what do you got to hide? I mean, he's worth $600 million on paper, 650, whatever the hell it is. What are you scamming the government? You're not paying taxes? I mean,
I have no idea, but
even if he was, I mean, to be honest with you, I really don't give a shit. I mean, I don't know. Seemed weird. But on to other things. How about a little friend Giselle Maxwell? 20 years, but still no client list, Mike.
Yeah, that's crazy. So I saw like one person tweet out, and it was like one of the truest things. It's like she's gonna go do 20 years for no one because no one's seen that list.
Nobody said nothing. Here's my deal. Where's the list, man? Where are those clients, man?
It's that. I mean, you want to talk about, conspiracy theories and rabbit holes and everything. I mean, the only person that's been given up so far is, who is it? Prince Philip.
Prince Philip is thrown under the bus.
That's it. He's the guy that's got to take it.
And you got people on the left, oh, Trump's on the list. And you got people on the right, oh, Clinton's on the list.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, I don't give a shit who's who, but why is there no list? I mean, you guys, you could leak. Check this out. You could leak a Supreme Court decision on a major ruling before it comes out. You can release grand jury testimony in Balco in 2001. But probably in the biggest scandal in the last 20 to 30 years, you get nothing on it other than a quote, suicide of the main guy. And now this chick going to jail for 20 plus years and you don't get a peep. It's not even on the news, Mike. That's the craziest thing. Like you see.
Oh yeah, it made the paper. That was it. There was like an article in the paper. Yep, she's getting 20 years. Goodbye. See you later.
It's just so insane, man.
This is one of those, like, where you go in. Like, I've listened to other podcasts about where they go down, like Tim Dillon has gone down the rabbit hole on her. And like the whole family is basically like connected to the Mossad. The father was a big deal. I mean, we all remember the father tried to buy the Daily News back in the day. And like,
yeah.
And then he just disappeared off a boat.
Mossad's no joke, man.
Yeah. And
Israelis don't F around.
nah, man, yeah, and when you go back to it, like when you connect the dots back to them, they have a lot of it goes back to them and their connections with the Mossad. So they always said she was an asset working for both the Mossad and the CIA. So was what's his face, Epstein. They think she was the higher up. They think she ran the show. You know, the whole thing with that island was to get high profile people on that island, get them in compromising positions, whether it's with
And then
an underage girl, maybe a same sex relationship, whatever. And then boom, blackmail them. They said every room there was wired up, everything was camered up, and it was Blackmail Island.
Makes sense.
So I think that's why we're never going to see a list. But that's
No, I agree with you. I don't think you ever seen a list. I'm really surprised because I think you mentioned it when we last talked about it. I thought she would have ended up quote as a suicide. You know, I know she got put on the watch for a while.
I mean, who knows? Like this could be something too, man. Like she goes in, you know, like she's been in jail now for what, about a year?
Yeah, close to it.
Since they caught her. I could see her maybe lasting like maybe another 2 years before she's like, I want to make some kind of deal. And like I want to name some more names. And then maybe she'll have an accident.
She's probably a little bit older than us. So what? She would be.
No, she's like in her I think she's like 60 years old.
Oh, she's 60. She's
yeah.
Okay. I thought she was only like in her mid-50s or something.
No, she's up there, GHISLAINE.
No, yeah. Who the hell knows, man? Maybe she'll be like in one of these posh, minimum security places. Who knows? I just find it weird, really weird that there's really little to no media coverage, and there was really no list whatsoever.
No, it's like let it go. It's gone.
Speaking of another high-profile celebrity going to jail, R. Kelly. I want to piss on you. 30 years.
Well,
Thoughts, Mike?
I believe he can't fly.
You believe he can't fly?
Dude, 30 years, man.
30 years, man. I mean, listen, I get what he did is heinous, but when you think about it, Giselle Maxwell got 20.
That's I know. Yeah, this woman trafficked children out of the United States to an island in the Caribbean.
And listen, he's no saint. I'm not condoning what he's doing.
Yeah, he's a weird dude, R. Kelly, to begin with. Yeah, he did a whole bunch of creepy shit with underage girls. You know, I mean, fuck him. I don't give a shit about R. Kelly. You know, but it is weird. Like someone gets 20, someone gets 30. He was a creepy dude, man. Like they went into that whole thing. Did you watch the documentary about him?
I saw the documentary, and listen,
that was crazy,
he's not
man.
a nice
like,
guy, man. He's
like
really
Aaliyah he forged all those documents for that girl Aaliyah when she was like 15 to get married or whatever she was, 15 or 16.
He's messed up. I'm just saying, it's like, you give 30 years like it's candy to this guy, but Maxwell gets 20, and you don't get any details on what she did.
It's all sealed up, man. This is like she's like the Kennedy assassination.
I was just gonna say that. I was gonna mention that
they're just gonna seal it up for like 50 years.
Seal it up for like 50 years. You're never gonna find.
Oh yeah, now you can see all the names because they're all.
I don't even think you're gonna see the Kennedy stuff. I mean, I think until we're long gone, our parents are long gone, and even then,
I mean, like who's still around, man?
Very limited people, man.
Dude, I did another podcast with Pat Dixon where we were doing like New York murders and deaths. And there was this woman, Dorothy Kilgallen, who was a reporter, and she was reporting on the Kennedy death.
Okay.
And there was like her and two other women, man, that had the weirdest deaths in regard. They were all somehow involved in the Kennedy assassination. Kilgallen was reporting on it, and these two other women kind of like were friends with Jack Ruby and knew people involved with it. And they all died weird, mysterious deaths.
Oh, kind of like our friends, the Clintons. Oh, got some dirt. Oops, suicide. Oops, into a mountain. Oops.
So I mean, yeah, it's just one of those, and it's like, it's like one of those things you can just, the less information you got about what happened, the more you can make up what did happen.
Yeah, man.
Like, oh well, maybe they didn't say this because of this, and that's why. So,
well, let's go back to New York City for a second. What's going on with our friend Rudy Giuliani? We talked about this off air. So
I saw the
22
video, man.
22 years ago, the guy, I said this off air, Mike, it's like 22 years ago, this guy's like the king of the city. He guides us out at 9/11. And listen, I know he's probably guilty by association because he's Trump's lawyer and people don't like Trump. So automatically they dislike this guy. And look, I saw the video too, and listen, he definitely embellished it. The guy hit him on the back of the on the
I mean,
on the back.
if you watch the video, yeah, it's harassment at best.
Right, that's right. He basically said something to the effect, "Hey, what's up, scumbag?" Which is something maybe I would have said back in the day. You listen, cool out, Rudy. But that said, I don't get the vitriol towards him, man. Other than the fact that he was associated with Trump.
That's the vitriol. That's it. That's the.
How do you go? How do you go from 9/11 to that in 20 years? I mean, it's like, look, just because you're the guy's lawyer, I mean, it doesn't make you a bad. Look, there were people that I dislike on the left, but it's not because they're associated with someone that I dislike. It's like you got to do something, right?
Hey, man, the guy, like I said, it's like if you were in the Nazi party and you didn't do anything, you didn't kill anybody. You're in the Nazi party. You're still a Nazi.
Yeah.
He's with this guy. I mean, and it wasn't like he just joined his team. It's like, I'm your lawyer, man. I'm going to guide you through this.
That's the only thing I can see really that would create that type of or a couple comments on Facebook. I'm like, all right, listen, I get he's a Trump guy. I get he was the lawyer and stuff. I know you probably don't like Trump, not you personally, but I'm just saying the people that I read. But I'm trying to figure out what the hell did he do that was so heinous that all of a sudden he's a scumbag.
He's involved with all of this shit, with the January 6th, with the fucking documents disappeared. He was the guy making documents like, oh, we don't know where these documents. That was even before that.
What exactly did he substantiate the fact that one side of the country thinks that the election was rigged? That makes him a bad guy?
No, no. Him being with him just makes him a bad guy. That's it.
What I'm trying to say.
It has nothing to do with the election. It's just half the people are going to hate him just because of that.
Okay.
Rudy Giuliani screwed him. If Rudy could have probably written his own ticket, if he would have just left office, stayed in the private sector, and just been a guy that shows up on like Fox News every now and again, CNN every now and again.
I don't know if you remember, he ran for president and all.
Yeah, I remember that, and he got like nothing.
No, you're wrong.
He didn't get
up until February. He was leading the Republican for the Republican nomination, and all of a sudden, I don't know what the hell happened to him. He was leading up into South Carolina. He was leading in the delegate votes, and all of a sudden, poof! The other guy, I think it was what's his face, Mitch Romney. Romney just blew past him. But he was leading that year, kind of like Clinton was leading too. Hillary was leading up until like April or the springtime, and then Barack blew by her. But both of them were leading up into that time, Mike. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, he kind of laid low. He kind of he was the 9/11 guy, and then he laid low afterwards, after he lost the nomination. And then he popped up, during the Trump administration. And I'm just like going through all the stuff. I'm like, well, wait a second. What exactly did this guy do that makes people, say shit like that? Like, other than the fact that he's a Republican?
Yeah, but I think too, what did him in that primary, the primary started to go west. Right. He did not fare well in the West.
No, you're right.
That was the problem.
That's right.
He did. He had that East Coast secured. And then as he went further
south, he went down.
He started going further south and further west, and it started to do him in.
That's right. That's correct.
Because let's face it, too, people hate New York. Just to hate New York.
Outside of New York.
They hate Italian. Yeah. Here's an Italian from New York. Like, I'm going to be your next president.
No, you're not. The fact that people probably hate him because he's a Republican too. But DeSantis, I mean, he's got a knock against him. He's an Italian.
Yeah.
People
like him though. But he's the new face. He's going to win the nomination. He's winning the nomination. I'll call it right now. He wins the nomination. If Trump was smart, he would just lay.
Me and my wife were talking about it today, Mike. For the people who are friends and family and people that watch this that lean left, if you thought what these people had and hatred they had towards Trump, DeSantis is a whole nother level.
See, my thing with DeSantis is he's Trump. He's Trump though, with like a war record and a lot more common sense.
He does,
and I think it's
guys to attack him.
It is, yeah. When he comes off like hey man, yeah, we didn't. I told people they didn't have to wear masks. Look what happened.
Right? No, it's going to be really hard for them. Look, I'd probably vote for Trump again if he ran, but I got to be honest with you. I like Ron. You know, I know people watching this are going to probably, oh, Muskrat's a dick or Muskie's a dick. Okay, fine, get it. But I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to warn you people. You thought Trump was bad. You didn't like him. If this guy DeSantis gets in, here's Trump. DeSantis is like 2 freaking deviations to the right. You think what happened in terms of social issues was bad with the Supreme Court? Wait. You know, I don't know, man. I don't know. I like them both, but
We'll see what happens.
the Rudy thing just kind of threw me for a loop.
Yeah, it was. I mean, like, once you saw the video, once you heard it was like he got assaulted at a place in Staten Island, and then you saw the video and he got
No, it was
smacked on the
bullshit.
back.
I mean, he got smacked on the back. I mean, come on, let's call it what it is. I mean, it was bullshit. And then
Yeah.
you got the freaking mayor getting involved. Oh, you know, we should prosecute him for a false report. Hey, Eric, why don't you clean up the city? Hey, maybe I can walk on the subway without getting pushed on the tracks instead of
Yeah,
worrying about, you know, some washed up politician, you know. But I know we were going to talk about the 4th of July movies, you know, for the folks out there.
Oh, they grabbed the guy that killed that girl,
Oh, yeah?
Isaac Argro. Oh, the ex-boyfriend did it. That killed the 20-year-old girl pushing the stroller.
Nice.
It was the ex-boyfriend. 3-month-old baby. What a
Maybe we
sick
could do a little
bastard.
something about the subways, a little bit of crime in the city before we worry about other bullshit. You know, just saying. Asking for a friend.
I did take the train last night. It wasn't that bad. It wasn't. I was shocked. I thought it was going to be a lot worse, but
Lot
it
worse.
actually wasn't that bad.
Alright. I don't think it'd be my primary mode of transportation these days, Mike, but I'll take your word for it.
No, I take the train as sparingly as possible, but last night, I mean, I only went like 5 stops, so maybe that was it. I was only like 2 stops in Manhattan. The rest were in Queens. So, yeah, it wasn't that bad.
Gotcha.
All
right.
Really got a
Plug
couple
away.
of minutes left. Plug away, and we'll get
away,
out of
man.
here.
And have a happy 4th of July to everybody. All right, we'll start off with Jay Cristiano, Cardinal Financial, 844-442-7334. Use the promo code 4215. Use the magic word, Crack House Podcast. And we got our buddy Mike Power down in North Carolina, Celtic
Mikey.
Monk.
Mikey, I saw your picture with Brendan Ryan.
I saw that too. Pretty cool, Mike. And if you're in the NC area, check his place out, Wilmington on the coast. Got Tommy Devitt, 5-Star Shopping by Tommy, 917-559-8264. You can also go to the Mad Donkey on 36th Avenue in Astoria. Got me, DJ Chris Clash, www.chrisclash.com. Facebook page, Long Island DJ. Hit me up. I'm booked for July and August, but, you know, we'll see. And with that, we'll pass it along to Mr. Mike. Miguel, take it away.
All right, July 10th, I'll be at Governor's Comedy Club, 7 o'clock show, I believe. Yeah, you can go on Governor's website, Governor's Comedy Club. I'll be there, like I said, July 10th, the 7 o'clock show. What else do I got? Oh, yeah, Jack at I Can Paint, Pat Dixon, New York City Crime Report, and Notorious NYC podcast that he and I do. That's about it. And I should just be, if I got other dates around the city, just check my Instagram or Twitter, Michael Sully Comic. And
Broadway.
That's about it, everybody. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Peace, everybody.